Hello, folks, and welcome to Last Man Standing, the official after show for Stupid O'Clock, brought to you by Hallowcon, Aphelion Webzine, then the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. And while I'm got you all captivated here, let me show you the schedule for the Rising Tide. These are all Eastern times, and it is every day and night of the week. There is something on the Rising Tide Network for everybody. So just check this out. Go to www.facebook.com Rising Tide Network. It's tiny. I'm trying to read the screen here without being full screen. Check it out. It's right there. There's something that for everybody, whether you like comics, whether you like comedy, whether you like pithy commentary, whether you like, let's say, conspiracy theories and unsolved mysteries, whether you like live rocket launches, go Joe Dog with Armchair Rocket Science, and whether you like just people hanging out and shooting a breeze for hours like we do here. So with that said, let me bring in Chris and Josh and Bill, and thank you very much for being here, guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that there.
I do get a little long-winded at times. I am sorry.
Well, you got to promote.
Hashtag always promote. Let me
always promote, especially when it's not yours.
Oh, believe me, I can promote mine too.
There you go. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Oh, believe me, everybody's known about that shit for years. So if they're going to buy it, most of them already have, unless they're brand new to the fandom. And believe me, if y'all are fans of mine, I'd love to meet you sometime. I'm going to be at Hallowcon. I'm going to be at next year's LibertyCon. A lot of other folks are too, and
you should see me at both.
I
said you should see me at both.
Yes, I certainly hope so. Looking forward to shaking your hand and buying you a beer at the in the con suite or whatever. And yeah, there you go.
Everybody's got something to promote.
Hey, I got one of them too.
There you go. You can see better.
I do too, but mine's in the other room.
I have this thing called Hallowcon. We get together around Halloween every year and have fun with artists, friends, vendors, and just everyday fans of science fiction, fantasy, horror, Halloween, and cosplayers.
Yep, and this year will be my first ever Hallowcon.
And we're excited to have you.
And I'm hoping it'll be my first year.
And we hope that you are able to attend as well. And Bill, I don't know if you're planning on attending or able to, but we would love to have you as well.
I would love to come. I don't know about this year, but things for next year might look more promising to me. But we got a couple other commitments right now. But
I understand.
But next year that would be something to plan for.
Well, Brian K. Morris and Carl and Aunt Donna are going to be there. We thought originally that we were going to have a couple of other people there that unfortunately have commitments or not quite enough financing to be able to be there this year. But we're working on trying to get them set up to attend next year. I mean, Michaela and Ted and Christine, we're hoping next year is going to be the year. And I'm saying like I've been going every damn year. No, this is going to be my first one. But
Look,
I'd just be so excited to be able to see in person some of the friends that I have made over the last 2 years while the present unpleasantness has been transpiring.
Yes.
And maybe by 2022, we might get beyond the unpleasantness. And
Well, one would hope. One would hope. And
I certainly hope so.
yeah.
Chris,
well, if I got a second here, I guess I'll go say my spiel.
Go for it. Go for it, Bill.
Just from the top of my head, but I've typed it into the comments on Brian's show for so many times, you would think I would have memorized it by now. But everybody, join the Far Out and Groovy Kids by clicking on Sartin Art 76 for better days from yesteryear. My snazzy jazzy sketches and other gear goodies will tickle your innards yet warm your heart. Plus, all of my artwork's always available safe and securely through PayPal. So make sure you hit that follow button on the Sartin artwork of Bill Sartin. I knew I'd screw it up. Where everything old is new again. There you go. By golly, I'm done with it.
You just need to record it. You can rehearse as often as you like, and you can edit too until you get it just perfect. And then all you got to do is hit play and sit back and go, that's it.
Yeah, I need. Now, okay. Since, Dan, since you brought up the recording thing and StreamYard's new little trick, is that also available for the us peons that don't pay for
in the free
StreamYard?
version?
In the free version, yes.
That's Joe Dog's area of expertise.
Okay.
I would say yes, but there might be a limit as to
how much you can record.
Not
as the length of the recording. I'm not sure. I do not know, and I'm not an expert.
It's probably the length and or data that you do.
Yeah.
Now you can record stuff on your phone if you've got the audio recorder function. You can record stuff on your desktop computer. Windows used to have a nice little thing called audio recorder that would let you do shit like that. But then you've also got the option of downloading a free app called Audacity and playing with that. And it's not fully functional, but it's a good turn on the microphone, click go, and record. And if something where you skip a word or you stutter or something, you can go back and chop that bit out and start all over again in the same recording.
Now there is a podcast. There is a podcast app called Odyssey. That apparently is not the same thing then.
No, this is Audacity with an A.
Okay.
Odyssey would be with an O.
There's one.
No, it's with an A as well.
Yeah, there
really?
is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But they're two separate things.
Okay.
I think there's one called also called Panda.
Is that one on iPads or Apple phones?
I think it's for tablets. It's for because I actually used it for some of my when I was doing my grilling / smoking podcast.
Here you go, guys. Oatmeal stout.
Okay.
I cannot recommend this highly enough. If somebody made a Hershey bar that was alcoholic, this would be it.
What's the percentage?
Well, Dan, this is a song Billy Idol made famous.
Let's see. It looks like it's made by Samuel Smith. Oh, Rebel Yell.
Rebel Yell.
Uh-huh.
When I held it up, I knew what it was.
Lord, yeah.
And Chris is drinking that. Chris is drinking that in the midnight hour too.
Jim Beam.
mean, we go all around the country.
Welcome to the weekly meeting of Alcoholics Don't Give a Damn Anonymous.
Yeah.
You know our names; they're on the screen. We're drinking, so join us.
Yes, but Chris, Chris,
yes,
I know you were saying talking about Hallowcon there. I done got tongue tied.
Hot Pocket Con.
Yeah.
Hot Pocket.
I do know a few podcasters that you might talk to, and they do paranormal research. They do all kinds of stuff. They probably come out there. Some people might know them. Some people might not. I don't know if you know. I don't want to mention their name, just in case.
Oh, just make one up.
I'll just say one of them's last name, Stucci.
Okay. Well, you can send me or Joe a message.
Yeah, I was about. I'll send you a message. And and they might come out there and cover it. I mean, give it some, more. I mean, if that's something y'all.
Jason the Carpetbagger, if you're familiar with him, he's a friend of one of our regulars.
Okay.
Jamie Boomer Hall.
Okay.
And he came out a few years ago, but I don't think he quite knew the right way to promote it. Because I think it was stuff he wasn't expecting.
Right.
And, you get used to podcasting certain types of events and stuff like that. And when you come to something different that you're not quite prepared for,
yeah,
it.
I was going to say
there is a great deal of difference between a podcast, a streamcast, and a live convention.
Well, I was going to say these two guys right here, especially the head guy.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link. I'll send Dan a link to one of their podcasts.
And send Joe one, because he's got a lot of the guests already lined up this year. I don't know how much room he's got for any more. It's not that we wouldn't welcome them, but we only got so many people with so much money to go around. So everybody gets a little bit.
Definitely.
I was about. This wouldn't cost no money. He owes me a favor. They owe me a favor. So
okay.
And the thing I was going to say is like I was saying. Well, what I was saying is they're big time into paranormal and
well, I can
they call it UAPs now, but they do a show called Abnormal Realities. It's on Facebook. If you want, if you ever want to check it out,
okay.
they're it's kind of like they just sit here like what we're doing right now and BS pretty much, but I say BS, but they make it fun for people to watch and everything like that.
That's all part of it. You want to entertain people.
And
why do you keep mentioning my initials, Josh? I'm wondering.
Well, because I'm about to drop some BS on you. But
okay.
If I may interject, now we have this from Sean Sullivan, who's one of my closest personal friends from LibertyCon. Try half and half of Screwball, peanut butter whiskey, and Godiva, which equals an alcoholic Reese's cup.
So I got Fireball. I ain't got no Screwball.
Yeah. Well, now that said, Sean, you put off coming to LibertyCon for many, many years after I recommended it to you, and you admitted that was a mistake. Now, here, I'm telling you right now.
I want to know more about that too.
To Hallowcon, and you will find a much, much, much smaller convention that is exactly the same sort of people that you would feel comfortable with at LibertyCon or
there is
some of the Relaxicons that are really, really good.
You would say some people that you would find at Chattacon or LibertyCon at Hallowcon.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, every convention's got a little bit of
different flavor
crossover, and then there's their own,
their own unique brand.
Yeah. And the good thing about Hallowcon is there's a little bit of stuff for everybody because we do have a panel room. I can give you a little bit of info about some of what to expect. We usually have a performance on Friday night by the Molly Maguires, which are an excellent Irish music band. Somebody asked them what time, what kind of Irish music they played. They said both kinds. I said, both kinds? Yes, the fighting and the drinking kind.
There you go.
I have heard the Molly Maguires used to be regular guests on Garrison Keeler's Prairie Home Companion radio show that used to be on Saturday nights, and they're wonderful.
Well,
my first experience with them was last year's virtual Hallowcon, and I sat there mesmerized through their entire performance.
Oh, they're good. I mean,
they are wonderful.
And they brought Ariel Megan Ariel Clark with them, and she is an awesome vocalist, and she's very pretty to look upon too. So,
Dan, may I ask about LibertyCon? What is
LibertyCon? Yes. LibertyCon is another Chattanooga-based convention, but it is okay. Think of a family reunion with used to be 750, but now 1,000 of your closest personal friends, some of whom you have not met yet, but will love to. And you have writers, artists, editors, publishers, and fandom showing up in one place for a weekend. And it is, without a doubt, one of the most fun, exciting, and overall relaxing conventions that I have ever attended in my life. My wife and I have been going together for the last 14 years, and we've only been married for 15, so that lets you know when I dragged her into the madness. And I got to go to one a little bit earlier than that, and then skipped a few years because I was dealing with stuff. But like I said, it's basically the world's greatest family reunion of folks from the Southeast just coming together and having a great time. And maybe even you'll learn something if you go to some of the panels and whatnot. You will meet writers, you will meet publishers, you will meet editors, you will meet general fans, you will meet musicians, you will meet artists, and it's more awesome than I know how to put into words.
Josh, I will tell you, now they had to go virtual this past year, and I think they canceled, or this year they went virtual. Last year, I think they canceled due to COVID, but they sold out last year's show that they had to cancel in under 29 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
750 memberships vanished in less than half an hour.
Well,
this tells you how popular this is. Now, next year, they've already sold out.
Yeah.
The rollover memberships from before
the
the recent unpleasantness and the additional memberships, since they have reluctantly decided to go up to 1,000 from 750. Now, the reason the memberships are limited is because it is such a close-knit family sort of thing, and it would change their
the makeup of
well, no, not the makeup of people attending. It would change the kind of tax bracket they grow into, and they would not be able to contribute as much to the charities that they want to contribute to.
And not only that, it would strain the staffing more than they're currently
able
or willing to handle. The thing about their staff is they are top notch. They do an excellent job, and they don't want to try and burden them with any more than they can handle easily.
Yeah, they're not wanting to become Dragon Con. They're wanting to be this family.
The best.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what Joe Dog has told me about Hallowcon, that's their chief competition right there.
Well,
hopefully
we're not really a competition with them because they have a fan base of professionals that we can't match. Now, we have some professionals that are fans of us, and don't get me wrong, they're quality individuals, but when you have a New York Times bestseller like David Weber that constantly wants to attend your convention because he's close personal friends with the man that founded it and the daughter that has since taken over, it's hard to compete with that. And because he's still publishing and he still has commitments and he only does certain shows.
Well, I see it, Chris. That's what I was like wondering, like where y'all go with all y'all stuff on Hallowcon. Like, I didn't know if it was more like paranormal or like
we do a little bit of that,
or I mean, I didn't kind of.
We've got a little bit of everything. We have fantasy, we have science fiction, we have paranormal, we have horror. We try and give a little bit of something for everybody, and it is Halloween, so we want people to dress up and we want them to have fun, and we encourage it. And we have a masquerade contest, and
it is a smaller scale than LibertyCon or Connuga or any of the other things like that.
Yeah. But we're not trying to be the biggest.
It's an intimate sort of thing that is one of the drawing points.
And you will make friends that you will be glad to see. And
you make friends for your entire life.
Yeah. I mean, and the best part about it is we feed you pretty much the whole week. We don't do breakfast. The hotel does provide a limited breakfast. And
I don't eat breakfast. But
we Saturday night we feed you stuff, and then we do like sandwiches. We got like 7 or 8 different sandwiches, and they're individually wrapped in plastic bags so they don't go bad. And we have people wearing gloves, that prepare the food. Precautions are taken. For people that's worried about germs or anything like that, we have sanitizing spray that we spray stuff down with, has microban that lasts for 24 hours, and other precautions. We're going to have individually wrapped utensils for the food. And like I said, your food and your beverages are provided with your badge. I mean, you can't get much better deal with that. We have authors, we have vendors, musicians.
Well, Joe said I was going to be cooking, so I mean,
he may put you on the grill.
Hey, if he puts you on the grill, that's an honor.
I mean,
he won't let just anybody touch it.
I'll be out there eating all day. So.
We're going to see Josh out there with a hairnet on his beard cooking.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever,
y'all won't see me.
Whatever OSHA regulates, we'll do.
Yeah.
You got to make sure the food's up to your standards.
You won't see me shaved.
That's the important thing. Your standards. Yeah. Now, there's nothing going to be half-assed here except Joe Dog's humor.
Yeah. That goes without saying.
He's up to half-ass now, huh?
He might even reach 3/4 this year.
Oh, yeah, we might
I'm going to pay for that. I'm going to pay for that. Oh my
God! What do you say about burning down the house?
We can probably find him a step stool somewhere.
There you go.
Well, hell, I was talking about burning down my house the other night.
Cue up the Talking Heads song.
Yeah, really. Sullivan, if you can show up, you should. Everything's not sold out yet. Please try.
The rooms
I
are
told you about LibertyCon, and you said, "Oh, maybe." And now I'm telling you, Hallowcon, and I haven't even been yet. So, just do it. Just do it. Trust me.
Sean, I don't know you, man. I'm trying my best to go because the only reason I hadn't pulled the trigger is I got to get my wife's work schedule, and it's in October, so kind of got to wait for middle of this month. So.
And Sean, I'll tell you, it may be an Econo Lodge, but the rooms are really nice.
I was about to say I've seen the pictures on the inside of that place, and it looks great. So
I have seen much worse rooms in a Marriott or a Hilton.
I was about to say a Hilton was looking worse.
And it's a $69 a night plus tax rate. You cannot beat that with a stick.
I was about to say, hell, I can't even stay in a hotel in Tuscaloosa for that price.
Chris, have you got the link you can flash up? Because I don't remember it at the moment. I know I don't have it in my repertoire here online, but
the thing about it is
Hallowcon.com, I do believe.
Yes, that is the link. You can find information on the guests, some of the entertainment that will be provided, information on the hotel. And if you call the hotel to make a reservation, please mention that you're with Hallowcon. That way you get the rate. And
well, I think you can do it all on the at Hallowcon if you want to do it all online. Because I when I looked at the website, I think you can do it all right there.
Yeah. Well, the hotel
the membership, the members. They block
membership.
Oh, okay.
The hotel you need to call directly because they block off that weekend, so we get all of our people.
Okay.
Now, the hotel reservations you have to make over the phone. There's no website. You have to call the number on the Hallowcon website to get to the hotel, and it's no problem whatsoever. I did it from work.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, Hallowcon. Oh, yes. That's $69 a night. You want Thursday through Sunday night? Yes. And, we have you on record from some other hotel that we're associated with. So we have your email already. So,
Yes, if you are a Choice member, Privileges member, they will have your stuff on file.
I don't know which hotel chain they're associated with, but they had all I had to do is give them my name and my phone number, and they pulled up everything.
Yeah, any of the Choice hotels, which is Comfort Inn, Comfort Suites, Quality Inn, Econo Lodge, all that stuff, Clarion.
Yep. So it's basically it's Hilton, basically.
Well, no, it's Choice Hotels.
Choice. Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, that's part of the Hilton family.
I didn't know that, but I thought Hilton was another chain altogether.
Well, no, I've only got two of the deluxe memberships, and one of them is Hilton Honors, and one of them is
Choice Privileges is what they have theirs listed.
Yeah. I can't
There's
remember.
Wyndham Rewards. That's another one.
Yes,
Another
that's about to say Wyndham.
What is it? Marriott is
Marriott Bonvoy, I think they call it now.
Yep. So I've only got those two. So it has to be one of those two chains that they're associated.
I wonder if they got bought out, or the reward side might have got bought out. I mean,
I really don't know. I don't think they've gotten bought out by anybody, because those are two very, very big chains.
Well, another thing.
Well, I was talking about the lower chain. You know.
So, what I'm looking at right now online for the brands for all the choice hotels are Ascend, Cambria Hotels, Comfort, Sleep Inn, Clarion, Clarion Point, Quality Inn, Mainstay Suites, Wood Spring Suites, Suburban, Econolodge, and Roadway Inn.
Yep.
And then they kind of give you a breakdown of all those on there.
I'm about to say Hilton got so many, it's unreal.
And there's like 4 major hotel chains. Choice is one of them, Hilton's one of them, Marriott's one of them, and Wyndham Rewards.
Wyndham. That's somewhere where we stay at.
Wyndham's got like Days Inn and Ramada, I think. And I forgot International Hotel Groups, which is Holiday Inn and all their stuff.
Hilton's normally where we stay when we go to Nashville.
So, they're saying Hilton has 18 brands across different market segments, and that which basically all have the name Hilton in the brand.
They like Hilton Suites and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's like Waldorf Astoria hotels and resorts, but most of them all have Hilton name in it.
That's a big name right there, Waldorf Astoria. That's
That's
got some history behind it there.
You're gonna be paying some money.
I hear they have a great salad.
Yeah,
great. If you like walnuts, yeah.
I love that Astoria salad.
Last time I went to a family reunion up in Jacksboro, Tennessee. Instead of staying at the Hampton Inn, which was full, so we couldn't stay there, but it used to be run by a fellow my mom and dad went to high school with, we stayed at a Red Roof Inn down the hill and about 2 blocks away. And I'm going, this is one of the best teeny tiny hotels I've ever been in. And it was just absolutely, they didn't have a lot, but they did a lot with what they had.
And the great thing about the hotel's location is you're basically at the northern Dalton I-75 exit. There's a couple more, but the next one is one of the main strips. So if you come in a day early, there are plenty of restaurants to eat at between those 2 exits in the area. So, and if anybody has any questions about it, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
See, I-75 Dalton, that'd be it's up there.
Exit 3.
Lookout Mountain, that'd be up there towards Tennessee line, right?
Well, it's below Ringgold, actually. So
it's fairly close.
336 is the hotel exit. 333 is Walnut Avenue, which is the main east-west drag.
Mm-hmm. Now, I made the mistake of telling Joe Dog that I was checking in Thursday. He says, "Oh, good, you're now part of the road crew."
See,
there better be a freaking keg involved. Let me tell you.
Well, I was about to say, if I come over early, they better be.
I will work, but I will expect free drinks.
We might can do something about that.
I'm willing to tote barges and lift bales as long as I get some beer.
Yeah.
Because once I get to the hotel, I don't want to leave.
We should have a crew where you won't have to do that much, but any help you want to assist with will be appreciated.
Hey, I am a master of unpacking trucks that have been Tetris packed and repacking trucks according to the principles of Tetris so that you have no unused space left over.
All you do is pull out the bottom box and the rest unpacks itself.
No, you go for the top down, Bill. You don't pull out the bottom and go avalanche.
Bill, we're trying
pull out the bottom box and you run like hell.
We are trying to do less work, not more work.
Oh,
really? We're trying to prevent breakage, not cause it.
Yeah,
Bill, you trying to
smarter, not harder.
Bill, you trying to put us in the damn hospital?
Luckily, there's also a hospital there.
Yeah,
and you may have to work there too.
That'll be good.
No, I have
heart attack.
I have had to direct somebody there, and basically guide them to it. But they had a cut that was a little bit more than a Band-Aid would fix. So,
well, I can see that's another thing.
I get those kind.
What do they do? Watch Nick Tuckert and not pay attention?
No, they just they cut themselves on something, and anyway, it was just a freak accident that happened, and anyway, it got took care of, and I think they had 1 or 2 stitches put in their finger, and then everything was fine.
A couple sterile strips.
Sullivan, I gave you the link. You asked why you weren't in the show. I gave you the link. Either jump on or, don't complain.
Yep.
You got it right there in front of you.
Yep.
And
fellas,
I got to say, Sean's one of the most interesting guys I know, but he is very opinionated, but he is a vintner. So you know, he makes some good, very, very good wine. You might as well be named Jeremiah because,
Well, fellas,
fine wine.
I'm going to have to get off here.
All right, Josh, it's been a pleasure all night long.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And y'all have a good night.
Hope you get your HVAC problem taken care of.
It'll be Monday before I get that done. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, whatever it takes, and we're hoping everything turns out all right.
Oh, it's going to get taken care of one more.
And we're hoping it comes in on time and under budget. So,
under budget. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Well, and now when those Service Pro people came in and that, you said something about something they did. Did they do some tests for mold or anything while they were up there in the attic, or?
Yeah, they did that, and they're supposed to come back in a month, I think, and retest.
Okay. Because that's nothing to mess with, I'll tell you, especially when you got doggies around.
Dogs or kids. I mean, nothing, or elderly folks, because it's harder on them than it is.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Well,
oh yeah.
It did not show any moisture somehow, so
that's a good thing.
That's a miracle.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Hey, take the good luck when it comes and run with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
And get that ceiling painted. over the water spots.
No, I'm cutting that out and redoing it. So.
Sounds like
y'all have a good.
That's a little bit more work, but it's the right way to do it.
Yeah. So it don't fall out on you.
Yep.
Yeah. But y'all have a good night, and I appreciate it. And we'll talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
See you, Josh.
See ya. Appreciate it.
And then there were 3.
Well, yeah, Sean was going, why don't I have a part in the show? And I'm going, well, here's the link. Where are you, Sean? Did the liquor store get busy or something? Well, it would be the first instance that anybody ever joined us from the cash register of a liquor store.
There's a liquor store to open this late?
In Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Frankfort, Kentucky.
Yeah, it's just
state capital.
1:45.
Yeah, really. He might be closing. That's the thing. He should have been closing an hour ago, but
is he Central Time or Eastern?
I don't know. Let's see. When I went to visit relatives in Kentucky, where was it? It wasn't Frankfort. It was pardon me, Aunt Mary, I can't remember. I really can't. I wish I could. It was, for me, it was Eastern Kentucky. For them, it might have been Central, but it was Central Time, because I remember I had to be told to readjust my watch because I was an hour earlier than everybody there. So that was pre-high school. It's been a long time.
Them smartphones do it all by themselves anymore, and
let's just say in 1975 there weren't such a damn thing as a smartphone.
No,
there was princess phones, and there was ones that hang on the wall, and that was about it.
Yeah,
small bell phones.
Before the monopoly got broken up.
Yep.
Now we have
many monopolies.
Well, I was going to say we have an opportunity to change the subject and go on some wild direction that we haven't even thought of yet. But, I don't have anything in mind, but if y'all do.
Conspiracy theories there, Dan?
Let's not go down that rabbit hole yet.
Hey, I can do that. I can do that, but I'm not going to be on the side that they're something sensible. Okay.
They don't call him debunking Dan for nothing.
I do have a novel that I would like to write on the subject of the Philadelphia experiment, and it would be science fiction, and emphasis on the fiction, not the science. But there's a little bit of science that goes in there. But when that comes up on that show that we watch in the middle of the week, I may make a nuisance of myself trying to point out, well, this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and history says this, and paperwork says this, and never the twain shall meet. But and now that I've said that, they will be forewarned to never do an episode on that one.
You never know, Dan. They might be gluttons for punishment.
Oh, it's not punishment. It's the presentation. Now, if you've got a show that is dedicated to conspiracies, you have to set it up. This is what the conspiracy is. This is the history of what people have come to believe, and then you almost are mandated to go, Now, this is the common sense explanation for it that the conspiracy does not take into account or ignores. And then again, you have this, which is something that makes it almost possible to be real. And you have this other thing that kind of pokes fun at it. But the people that believe in the conspiracy don't like that because it pokes fun at it.
Yeah.
And here is what we have determined.
Fair and balanced.
Yeah. I always heard if you can't take a joke, you shouldn't have signed on.
This is true. This is true.
And before I forget, Bill, I'm enjoying your retro artwork. I love the Hong Kong Phooey because.
Thank you.
Oh, Bill does this most fantastic work. I mean, seriously, he will take stuff from our childhood and go, well, this is what it was, and this is my interpretation of it. And it's like, it's where's the camera? Where's the camera? It's like this close to the actual thing. There's almost no difference between it. And because Bill loves it that much, that he tries to get it as accurate as humanly possible.
Oh, he does an absolutely amazing job.
It's a bang-up job, believe me. He did Bandit from Johnny Quest, but I couldn't tell it from an actual animation cell.
I enjoyed it too, but I used to love Hong Kong Phooey, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, man. And I told him in a comment, I said, I hope you read that in Scatman Crothers' voice because that's the way I intended it to sound.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You remember the other famous voice on that cartoon, Chris?
Probably not, because that goes back to my really, really young childhood.
Okay. Well, then Dan would know it. Let me think of the hint that I could give Dan. The other voice on Hong Kong Phooey besides Scatman Crothers also was the character of Gunther Tootie from Car 54. Where are you?
Oh my God.
Fred Gwynn?
No, the other one.
Oh, Grandpa Lewis. Al Lewis.
No, Fred Gwynn's partner, Joey Ross.
Okay.
Ooh. And he used to do a lot of them. He was also on my favorite 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which was Help It's the Hair Bear Bunch. He played Botch. And, it was like, ooh, Mr. Peevely, and, when he was on Car 54, ooh, and it was always the same. That was his big catchphrase.
That was his shtick.
Yeah, very much. Very much. He was wonderful.
I love most of the animated stuff from that days, but Hong Kong Phooey stuck out in my head because I didn't get to see it as often as some of the others. It and Grape Ape, I used to go absolutely nuts over when I would see it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got older, like, how in the world does that van support that huge ape?
Beagly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think old Beagly get crushed underneath the Grape Ape being on the van.
Yeah.
Hey,
when I was little, I didn't care because I just, hey, that's a huge grape ape. That's awesome.
Yeah, cartoon logic does not conform to actual logic.
But first of all, thank you both for your kind words about my artwork, and I greatly appreciate it. This morning, and I think I warned you last night, Dan, in the green room, what cartoons I was going to put out there today. Sadly, I didn't get every one of them on there because I kept finding commercials that I had never put on there before, and that. So I started filling up space with that. So, which means I have room for cartoons for next Saturday on there, which I put cartoons in the Everyday is Saturday group all week long. But the ones that I put on Saturday mornings, I usually try to theme. It's all 60s or 70s or 80s or maybe 60s and 70s and something like that, whatever, you know. I used to do, when I used to do the watch parties, like 1 week it might be all superhero cartoons or whatever, but most of the time, you know, and I would still have all the old cereal commercials and toy commercials and Schoolhouse Rock and Time for Timer and all the PSAs and that in there. But yeah, but I did manage to get C-Lab 2020 in there this morning.
Yeah.
Johnny Quest, one of the old 1960s Johnny Quest.
Yep, we talked about that, and it turns out your favorite episode is my favorite episode as well.
Yep, I love that.
Well, I used to love watching All-Star Laugh Olympics.
I often have that on there too.
And,
now, do you remember the Mighty Heroes? I thought that was corny as all get out, but I loved every minute of it.
Well, I remember Saturday mornings, I loved Tarzan, Lord of the Apes, or Lord of the Jungle.
Yeah.
You know, that was a Filmation thing.
Yep.
And as I got a little older,
with the rotoscope artwork, where they actually had film of people walking around and doing the actions, and then animated to their outlines, which was used by Ralph Bakshi for his Lord of the Rings and in Wizards.
And I noticed as I got a little bit older that when Filmation did He-Man, they would play the same music when they were about to start getting in the danger. You know, that ding, 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 where you got that high guitar string being.
Yep.
Filmation did the live action Shazam with.
Do you remember that?
Both of my Facebook friends, Jackson Bostwick, who was the first Captain Marvel, and then John Davey, a dear friend of mine, who was the second one, and the music that they used in that in the 74, 75, and 76 season, later on when they would do the animated adventures of Shazam, and that they would do they had Uncle Dudley and Talkie Tawny and all them in there, Captain Marvel Jr. and and all that. They actually used the very same music that they used in the live action one and I thought that was kind of a nice touch, you know, that they would, and of course the animated one tend to lean more to the animated comic books, you know, and all the C.C. Beck drawn stuff and that.
Yeah.
And although it wasn't animated, I do remember Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yep.
And the what was it? Legend of Isis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see that one as much, but I do remember Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, and
I think Isis was a much more limited number of episodes.
Yeah, she started in 76, which was the spinoff of Shazam, and they did some crossover episodes with her when John Davey was Captain Marvel, and then, you know, the Secrets of Isis became its own show as well. But I have a funny story to tell you about that. We were at Cahill's Pancake House a few years ago, me and my little sister Jenny, and we were talking about Saturday morning cartoons and the live action shows, and I mentioned the Secrets of Isis to her, and she says, I don't remember that one. I said, you don't remember it? She had an Egyptian amulet that when she held it up in the air and she shouted out, "Oh, mighty Isis," and I said it a little louder than what I thought I said it, and at that particular time the ISIS terrorists were kind of big news, and everybody turned around and looked at me all at once, and Jenny turned about 3 shades of red.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, that's about the time you turn around and go, I'm talking about 1970s cartoons, people.
Yeah.
I remember Land of the Lost.
Oh, yeah.
And I have Wesley Ure and Kathleen Coleman as Facebook friends of mine who played Will and Holly, the kids from that, from the first series of it, and they still to this day. Matter of fact, Wesley just posted on his Facebook page. They do all the Terrific Con and all the different cons. And when they go to the cons, one of the main thing is that the big inflatable yellow life raft that you see at the beginning of the show, where they go over the edge.
Yeah.
And they have one just like it that they take with them to the conventions, and then they have the little life vests on, and then they get in there with the oars and stuff, and then you see, well, there's Wesley and there's Kathy. They're in their positions that they were 45 years ago. And all of a sudden, behind them, there'll be a celebrity because they want to get in on the same shot. And you look behind, and it's Lou Ferrigno or, some other big time celebrity, and that Lee Majors or somebody, that's in the life raft with Will and Holly,
Yeah, well, I imagine if they had the $6 million man in there, they probably could have turned around and paddled back with the bionics.
Right. And I forget the actor's name, and I apologize, but the actor who played Chaka, the little kind of creature or whatever, and that he actually goes on the conventions with Wesley Ure and Kathy Coleman as well.
Almost like a mini Sasquatch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was kind of like almost like a caveman, but kind of a Aborigine type looking thing.
Yeah, he was a proto-human.
Yeah,
he would have been like a not a Neanderthal, but even earlier.
Cro-Magnon.
No, that was even later.
Yeah. Right.
Cro-Magnon's us.
No, we're Homo sapiens.
Yeah, well,
I thought Cro-Magnon was before Neanderthal. I could be wrong, but
simultaneous. Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, and Denisovians all at the same time, and basically just a couple of cosmetic mutations, and you've got us with a gene mixture of all three that came before.
Yeah.
But basically, back in the day, Cro-Magnon was just about to be us. Just a couple of more steps.
Yeah. Well, Chaka was kind of the small version of it, he
was a child version of the well, as you said, Sasquatch sort of thing, which would have been Homo erectus or something a little bit later, maybe contemporary with the Lucy skeleton. Or even later than that, but not quite all the way up to the hairless apes that we are.
And when you see him and Wesley and Kathy at the conventions and where they have their everything all set up and that and the backdrops and that, there are always people there cosplaying as Sleestacks all the time, which is so totally cool. Because they had the full costume. I mean, you know, they really go out as very professional looking always.
And don't you know they are burning up?
Oh yeah.
The key to having a costume like that is some good cooling feature.
Mm-hmm. You got to have some kind of air conditioning or liquid cooling or something going on in there.
They were interviewing Michael Keaton, and he said that when he was doing the first Batman movie in '89, or they were filming it a year or two prior, he said that suit was the most restrictive, hot ever, and he said, God help you if you had to go to the bathroom.
Well, yeah, you pretty much got to get naked out of the damn suit and then have makeup put you back in the suit.
Well, and I think one thing that he was referencing as far as going to the bathroom part is that when you get that very first slight urge, that's when you better do it. Because if you don't, you're not going to get out of the rubber suit, the bat suit, in time to prevent an accident from happening.
Exactly.
And And
one bit of Caveman, I started thinking about Captain Caveman, the cartoon.
Oh yeah, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Yep. The one thing that I have as a trivia for Land of the Lost was that Larry Niven wrote 3 episodes of that, and they are the ones that a lot of people remember the most fondly. You remember the Confederate soldier with the cannon? That was one of Larry's. There are a couple of more right close together there, because it was kind of a connected story. But he was really proud of that. He was really proud of that.
Yeah.
Well, I say was. It sounds like he's dead now, but he's not. He is really proud of that.
He's still proud of it.
Yeah, really, and rightly so, because that was entertaining several generations of children with that kind of story work.
Oh yeah. And another cool thing is, I met Larry at Mid-America Con, which was Worldcon 2016, a few years back.
Yeah.
And I asked to take a photo of him. I said, Mr. Niven, can I take a photo of you? And I think he was tickled that, I had a little more hair back then, and I was a little bit younger looking. And I think he was just tickled the fact that somebody that was a younger generation knew who he was. And, he happily agreed to it.
He is a gentleman.
Oh, yes.
Let me tell you, he is a gentleman. Last time I got to see him in person, Jerry Purnell was still alive.
Yes.
It was a Liberty Con. They were both there, and my first book had just come out, and I was on an autograph table next to Jenny Wirtz, and Larry and Jerry were at the next table over, and the line to get their autographs went out all the way around the room, out the door, and around the block, and the line for Jenny and me was like 3 people.
Yeah.
One of which was my wife with a blank check going, I want to buy this necklace. You don't know how humiliating it is for somebody to bring you up a blank check to an autograph and going, okay, don't cost me an arm and a leg here. I'm not selling that many books. But no, Larry and Jerry were just that year we knew that both of them, their health was in decline. And Jerry did not last too many years past that, but it was like,
I saw Jerry at a gathering at Dragon Con right before he passed away, because it was I think 3 weeks later when he passed away, something like that. So I was lucky that I got to see him that time. And interestingly enough, you know who Larry Niven reminds me of in appearance of that? I think they're pretty similar. Dr. Demento.
personalities are not the same, but yeah, you get
they're similar. I didn't say
the overall physical resemblance is there. Yes, indeed. Larry is the Bill Nye the Science Guy to Dr. Demento's "Ooh, this is some weird shit" sort of thing.
Well, I don't know, Dan. If you put a top hat on, you might be able to pass for Dr. Demento.
No, in my case, it would be Dan Demented.
Wear the monkey suit like how he does. Speaking of suit, Dan, I just sent you in the message me wearing the rubber Batman suit. It would have been Halloween of 1991. We had a...
see it.
You see it, yeah. And now, mine was easier to get out of than the one Keaton wore, but it was very similar and just as hot.
I imagine the one that you were wearing had a zipper all the way down the back.
It had not a zipper. What did it have?
Maybe Velcro?
Velcro, because we had to adjust a few. Now, up until recently, now I lost 70 pounds since January. So if I still had that suit that cost me $300 back then, I would be able to fit in it again.
You bugger. I've been trying to lose 15 pounds for about a year now.
Well, it's called walking a lot and not eating much. I am trying to eat more healthy though too.
I walk about 10 miles a day, and I eat whatever my wife tells me to eat. I think the problem is that I sit on my ass too much, and I have a few too many of these. But,
well, my goal is 6,000 steps, but I can get to 10 or more, which is about 5 miles.
What you saying, Chris?
I thought he sneezed. I said, bless you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I coughed, but I will take that blessing nonetheless. Thank you.
Save it for later. Yeah.
My grandmother did her best to make me respectful and use my manners.
Well,
nothing wrong with that.
There is the old, I believe it. Well, let me just say Celtic, because I don't know exactly which country it was from. Could be Ireland, could be Wales, could be anywhere. But if you let somebody sneeze 3 times, the fairies can take them. So you say bless you in order to ward off an attack by the fae.
Yes. And that would make sense because I do have Irish and Scotch and possibly some Welsh blood in my ancestry.
And much honor you do it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully I'm not too big of a disappointment to my ancestors.
All you have to be is a decent person and care about folks. Nothing else need to be applied.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the recipe for being a good human being. You are respectful folks. You care about their lives, their well-being, and you do the best you can with what cards you've been dealt.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, that's why I say all the time when I get on Brian's show, do a little introduction there in the comments, and that I always say count your blessings, and then I usually have some sort of snappy repertoire to end that, count your blessings and invest them wisely, or count your blessings and share them with others freely, or whatever, and all, because we do have a lot, and more so than what we realize or often take for granted sometimes. And
we do tend to take a lot of things for granted until we're forced to stop and think about how good we've got it.
Yeah. And there's always somebody that's in a worse situation than you.
Oh yeah.
You may not realize it at the time. You may not think about it, but there is.
And sooner or later, you're going to meet them.
Yep.
What you do after that determines your character.
Yeah. And I tend to be private as far as my personal medical issues and that, and believe me, I have them, but I don't burden people with them and that. But when I get feeling kind of boohooing about something I'm going through or whatever, the first person I think of is my sister-in-law, who is only in her mid-40s and is diabetic, double amputee, suffering from kidney failure, which she's getting ready to start dialysis in October. She has blood pressure issues that often send her to the hospital at least 3 or 4 times a month. And I call her every Sunday evening to kind of do a wellness check on her and stuff, and get updates on her doctor's visits and everything else, And you would think with somebody that young with that many problems, that many obstacles put before them, would do nothing but boohoo and whine and cry and why me and all that. And she does none of the above. I mean, to say she's a trooper about it all is quite the understatement. So when I get, my bone on bone knees are hurting, or this or that's going on or whatever, and I think about her and that, and it's like, man, I don't have it so bad, and I am truly blessed, and that because the man upstairs is looking after me, and that, and then so I just, instead of praying for myself, I pray for others, and that because and people like my sister-in-law who really need them more, and that because I know she's doing the same thing. She's not thinking about herself. She's worrying about her mom or her son, who's just starting his sophomore year in high school this year. And even though he's a sophomore in high school now, because of everything that has happened to her, he has now had to grow up in a matter of the last 5 years more than what probably a lot of kids ever will grow up.
Yeah.
And he's taking on a big responsibility, and he's, he's proven his worth, and that, and so, I pray for him as well, and because he's, down there, but yeah, I don't want to get real philosophical or anything about all this, but yeah, there's a reason why I say all that stuff, and that I don't mean it to be just a little catchphrase and that. And when I say goodbye and say via con Dios, which
go with God.
Go with God, and that because I truly mean it. I wish that for each and every one of you, and whether it be here or on Stupid O'Clock or on any of Brian's shows or Carl's or Ted's or anybody's, and it's just that just how I was raised.
I think that's a great thing, though, because there's too many haters in this world, and you shouldn't be upset that somebody is having some success or something going really good for them, even if you're not having that same amount of luck or success or whatever. And there's too many people that focus on that. I can kind of understand it if they're not very good people, and it seems sometimes that some of the worst people had the best luck. It's an unfortunate thing that happens, but the people that are having good things happen their way, they may have had a long spell of bad things happening to them, and they finally turn the corner, or things are finally turning the corner for them, and you should be happy for them. And that's it.
Because that comes about full circle, and because I used to, when I first started watching Brian's show and getting acquainted with everybody and what everybody does and what they create and all that, I thought, wow, this is great, get in with some like-minded people and that. And as the time went on and that, and you get to see the people on all these different shows and stuff, and I felt like I was being left out, and so I was getting ready to start one of those boohoo moments and that, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to worry about me. It's either going to happen or it's not, and when it does, it will, and I'll just go along for the ride until then. And I just, I kept up with what everybody else was doing and helped them on their Kickstarters, or help promote them on my page or whatever. And then next thing I know, I'm being invited on this show and that show, and then like yours, Dan, and Joe's, and and that I've become a regular part of now, and I'm very happy that you folks welcome me on here, and and I know there's still some shows that I've never been on, and if I never get on them, then I'm not holding any grudges or anything. It just, it's like my best friend Laura says, well, it wasn't meant to be, move on, and
well, one thing I'm never going to have a problem here is people want to talk about their personal philosophy. Now, I don't have to agree with it,
right?
But I am willing to listen, and I am willing to consider and maybe change my own point of view because of the insights that they offer. But this is one of those things where you've got a lot of experience from a lot of different people that is wildly different, and yet so very much the same from individual to individual. If you go into a more general sort of thing, someone did this, someone had this happen to them, someone had this revelation, someone decided to do this with their life. Don't we all go through that from time to time in different ways and different things? And we don't even have to have the same faith.
No.
I mean, it's important to consider other people's faiths, but you don't have to adopt them. you can go, oh, well, yeah, okay, I understand that, and I'd like to learn more, but I've got my own, and I hope you're accepting of that. And we can go on forward from there with a working a basis of mutual understanding, if not will, and mutual acceptance, if not proselytizing.
Well, the great thing about it is if you meet people from different backgrounds with different beliefs and stuff like that, being exposed to the ideas helps you grow as a person, because whether you agree with it or not, it expands your knowledge, your ability to deal with people from different backgrounds. And generally, if you're agreeable and you're not so adamant about forcing your views onto them, y'all can come to accommodation and get along without, having the same beliefs.
Yeah, the point is, don't try and convert somebody to your beliefs. Yeah. Try and understand what theirs are.
See how the things that sort of mesh and agree that you can identify with. Be aware of the stuff that doesn't necessarily work and mesh, and understand that, hey, this is what they've grown into from, the way they've grown up, the ideas and people and events
from childhood. This is what they've been. This is what they've been taught,
and the stuff they learn from when they're, becoming young adults.
Yeah, later on they might have tried to question what their elders had told them, because maybe it didn't cover all the bases that they came to realize were there later on. But as a child, they accepted automatically. But then later on they go, well, wait a minute, this is kind of at a crossroads. How does this work? And then somebody else go, oh, well, in what we believe, that works this way, but it's not required that you accept this and reject what you were brought up with. It's just, this isn't a very, very good way to learn to think and consider alternate points of view.
Well, not only that, you can, by questioning what you experienced and what you grew up with, you identify the stuff that you're still compatible with your thinking, your beliefs, and all that. Mm-hmm. You maybe add some stuff that helps support this, or maybe something you leave out completely. But in the end, not only can it expose you to new beliefs or make you adjust your viewpoints to fit new ideas and concepts that you've been experienced to, but it can also strengthen your faith, because you find that, hey, this does work, that I was taught from a younger. It's beneficial in several ways. It doesn't
contradict the stuff that I learned later.
Exactly.
And the stuff that I learned later reinforces some of the stuff that I was taught as a child. And it also, unfortunately, taught me to question some of the things that are a little bit iffy about the dogma.
Exactly. And one of the things that I like is most of the people that, again, I'm like Bill and probably you, Dan, I haven't seen all the Rising Tide Network shows, but they seem to be an agreeable type of bunch of people that, can discuss various different things, and they can do it in a constructive way that's not belittling somebody. It's not your McLaughlin group or Crossfire where you're too busy yelling at each other trying to express your viewpoints to hear what the other side's saying.
Nope. Rising Tide is a bunch of people with wildly diverse points of view that can. Okay, let me see if I can put this correctly. And this is going to sound philosophical, but it's last man standing. We can do that.
Oh yeah.
Right? You can examine your own beliefs in light of what your friends believe,
mm-hmm.
and you can learn from that, as well as the things that other friends with other beliefs
mm-hmm.
would bring into the conversation. And it's a very oversimplified simile here, but sooner or later you come to see that philosophy is like a salad bar. You can take what you understand from this tray and that tray and the other tray and assemble it into something that is more easily acceptable to the point of view that you were raised with, while not disrespecting anybody else's choices along the same salad bar, even though they may be wildly different.
Exactly, because as long as you've got people that are willing to have a civil discussion without yelling, and it's not always easy to, if you can.
No, sometimes it is a real challenge.
Well, and not only that, sometimes it's difficult for a person to express the way they want to, the idea that they're trying to convey. And you may have one person listening that understands what they're saying, the other one that's not quite grasping it, and maybe that other party's able to help flesh out the conversation in a way that they can understand it, and it does click for them, because not everybody thinks the same way, and not everybody's learns the same way.
Exactly. Everybody's experience in the world is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own individual point of view, and it depends a lot on how they were raised, what they were taught, what they have learned since then, what they accept of what they've learned since then, and what they're willing to accept from what they may learn in the future.
Well, one thing I noticed is, and somebody pointed this out to me, and it kind of makes sense. There's some people that are good in thinking and timelines of, the past to the recent, or from the present to the past. There's some that do better in thinking in groupings or regions, if you will, like regions on a map or state or whatever. And there's some that are really adept at learning both ways. And there's probably a couple other ways that I haven't even thought of, but those are some of the basic, concepts that I've kind of discovered over the years.
Yeah, and they're all equally valid.
Yes.
That's the thing. They're all equally valid. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're raised strictly one thing, and you never change your mind, and somebody else right next to you that had your next door neighbor had the same experiences you had, but they came to believe something just a little bit different, and then somebody from the next town that you have no common experiences with, but they've got the same sort of philosophy going on, and they discovered something absolutely unique on their own, and it's all equally valid.
Yep.
And your challenge right then, once you know all three of those examples, is to go, now how can I fit this in without being a jerk, and try and give everybody their own equality while recognizes their own uniqueness. And some people can do that, and my hat's off to them. But I'm fairly close to that, but I'm not the ideal of that. There are things that I really just I can't accept. But, I can understand the value that person places on it, and the importance that it has in their life. And I can go, okay, yeah, I can learn something from this person, but I'm not gonna try and change them because they have their own unique experience.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And it's also going to depend on the attitude of the person that you're talking to. If they're belligerent or got a big chip on their shoulder, it's going to be harder to sympathize or connect with the way they're thinking.
Yeah, somebody that has the attitude of I'm always right and you're wrong.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to make a connection with somebody that is well, this is the way I see the world, and this is what I've been taught, and this is what I have learned. You may well wind up being able to make a connection yourself between what you believe and have been taught and what they believe and have been taught, and you wind up being able to go, that's a very interesting point of view, and I have learned something.
I used to be able to enjoy a good argumentative discussion with somebody that I, have friends that are polar opposite on religion, politics, various things, but we get along quite well because we can have intelligent conversations and that with it. Now, in this day and age, especially within the last year or so, there's so much that's come up that I keep quiet about things because there are people out there that are laying in wait to prey on people to come out and voice an opinion. And as soon as you do, then they jump on you, attach a label to you, tell you how wrong that is. And I think a lot of the origin of the cancel culture kind of sprung out of that fire. And because they're very centrist and they have those blinders on that they're not only not going to enjoy a good argumentative discussion with you on certain things, they're not going to engage in that. All they're going to do is turn around and say, you're wrong, and you're a so-and-so, and you're the same thing, and you enable this person to be a so-and-so and that, so that makes you just as evil as the other, And if you try to say, okay, how is that so? Well, because you just are. You know, they will not back up their accusations with any type of logical explanations, even if it's just logical in their mind. And that if they give you a reason why, then you got something.
Yeah.
Something to go on.
I want you to argue with them because they're right. They're obsessed with being right, proving you wrong, making you feel terrible about it, and coming around to their thinking whether you want to or not.
They don't even want to prove. They won't even prove that you're wrong. They're just going to tell you you're wrong, and then they're gonna slap that label on you. You know, they're either, you know, they're going to call you a racist or a homophobe or a conservative or a liberal or you know, right extreme, left extreme, whatever it is. They're going to call that to you.
And they think they win by doing that.
Yeah, and it's basically like a drive-by shooting.
Yep.
You know, there's no explanation for it. It just happened, and it happened quickly, and they're gone. And then you have to deal with what what happened and how to repair that, you know. And so
the emotional repercussions in yourself of being attacked that way. Yeah. And most of the time in those situations, it's not I'm right and you're wrong, even though that's what they present it as. It's you don't conform to my beliefs, therefore you are anathema and evil and a tool of Satan or whatever. Yeah, you are the enemy because you don't believe exactly what I believe, and that sort of thing is there's no room for compromise. There's no room for acceptance of things that are different from what, and usually it's things that they have been taught from childhood rather than things they have logically thought out on their own, questioning this and that and the other thing, trying to come up with, oh, well, yeah, maybe this thing that was so dogmatic that I've been taught as a child works this way and gives me room to accept people that weren't taught that as a child or were taught totally different things. And it's very frustrating because you wind up in one of these no-win situations where they're right and you're automatically wrong because you're not them.
Well, Bill, you used an excellent analogy, drive-by shooting, where there's places in gang-controlled sections of Los Angeles where just having on the wrong color clothing can get you killed.
Oh, yeah.
There's no logic to it. It's just...
Even if you don't know what the right colored clothing is.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of it is in reference to gang colors and that, and I remember that going since the 70s and 80s. But
yeah,
I recall
if you're not part of one of the gangs, you don't know, and you could be a innocent bystander getting
in a
drive-by. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
wear this shirt because it's pretty. Oop, wrong color. Bang bang.
Yeah, and I, you know, this is another reason for me to say what do I want to invest my time and my effort in dealing with that sort of issues all the time and constantly having to be on the defensive about things, being accused of things, or, you know, you got to be careful what conversation you step into anymore, because sometimes it'll stick to the bottom of your shoe and smell pretty bad. And
or follow you around forever.
This is the reason why I do the artwork and why I do the cartoons and all the retro stuff and all that, which one thing I forgot to do tonight on my artwork page was this was the anniversary of the first Batman movie in 1966, and I was actually going to air that on there. Maybe I might do that tomorrow and just say, sorry, folks, this is a day late from being accurate to how long ago it was. But anyway,
No. Here's what you do, Bill. You go. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm going to run to the fridge. I'll be right back. Y'all hold down the fort, unless y'all want me to play a commercial. Because I've got one. No. If you want to keep talking, I'm not going to interrupt you. I will be back in just a couple of minutes.
I'm sure we can find something to talk about.
Well, keep going, because this is the kind of thing that keeps me alive at my age. So I love y'all.
Well, the great thing about you doing the artwork, Bill, is it takes people back to a more innocent time, if you will, where things were more cut and dry, if you will.
And maybe not so much because of the time that it came out.
Yeah.
Because I was born in the 60s, child of the 60s and a teen of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I have very warm thoughts about both of those decades, but when you think about it, those were two very turbulent decades. There was a lot going on, from Kennedy assassination all the way through Vietnam, and you think, man, how can you say that's the good old days? Well, the way I look at it is, and I don't know your age, Chris, but I'll just use my own.
Younger.
Yeah, well, I think about everybody's younger than me, except for maybe Dan. But anyway, growing up watching a lot of the cartoons in the 60s and 70s and all that, I say those were better days that I use in my little spiel, only because of the age that I was during those times. So, yeah, when you're 8, 9, 10 years old and you're watching something rather on Saturday morning while you're sitting there eating your bowl of Quisp or Captain Crunch cereal or Freakies or whatever, and you're having a good old time, and you waited all week for this too. Not like the kids these days where they just, turn around, cartoon, okay, I'll just pull it up on this and watch it anytime I want. We waited all week for them, and Saturday mornings really meant something to us from that, but so
you had to make the most of those commercial breaks so you didn't miss anything.
Oh yeah. Time, and you timed them out pretty well from week to week, and that, but that's where I say, in my definition, at least, better days from yesteryear was because of the age we were. We had mom and dad there, or, big brother, big sister, or even little brother, little sister and stuff.
Well, another thing that was about the time, I know you had the civil rights movement, you had the Vietnam War era, you had the Summer of Love, you had free love, you had the hippie movement, you had all these different things going on, but a lot of the shows had defined areas of good and bad. They also were an escapism from the reality of the day, which, you had a lot of bad news, but you also had some hopeful stuff. And
you had something to take your mind off of. I mean, you didn't forget what was going on in Vietnam because you had Walter Cronkite telling you every night at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock and that, and sometimes you would be, there's Dan Rather out there in the bush with them, and that, and man, back in that day, that was killer to be able to see, well, there's that war going on, and now we can see that war on TV, and that was breakthrough for social media back then. But then also because people having relatives over there and everything, and it was horrible and traumatic, and the people dying and stuff, and then you wanted to take your mind off of certain things, and that's where that escapism was by when you didn't want to watch what was going on in Vietnam on the CBS Evening News or whatever was your preference that you watched. You can jump over there to the other.
That hurt the execution of the war because it was hard to get support for it, and it was hard to justify going on with it when you saw all these people dying.
Yep, and I lived through that. Here you had Walter and Chet and David and all the other people going, these are the facts. Make up your own mind. Instead of today, where you have, oh, this is what we want you to think. There's a difference between news and propaganda.
Yeah.
And what we had then was reporting.
Yeah.
And not opinion pieces.
Well, another thing too is the reporting of this day is all about generating ratings and channeling thinking into certain ways that they want to drive the narrative.
There's a difference between selling commercial time and telling you what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and whether you loved him or hated him, Rush Limbaugh had an excellent way of describing this, and this was even back in the 90s, I think, when I first heard him refer to the media as being called the drive-by media, and because that's, it's what happened. That's what it was. I mean, this is, and of course it continues, but it's like now with everything with the COVID virus and that going on, and everybody's out there, and you got the internet, and you're getting all kinds of different opinions from different people and that, and then some of them even that are supposed to be good sources and that, they end up flip-flopping. And so who do you believe? Because this is something serious enough. You need to believe somebody that might have some sort of answer about it and what's going to happen and who's doing what and how are we going to get the heck out of this and that. But then
that's when you have to apply a filter.
Yeah.
Well,
you pretty much have to sit there and go, okay, who's got an agenda and who is presenting raw facts?
And the bad thing is you can make the argument that everybody has an agenda.
And I believe they do. I believe they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you remember the song by Don Henley, Dirty Laundry.
Dirty Laundry, yep.
I mean, it's like it's progressed worse from that point Yeah, yep. I remember that line clearly. You know, got the bubble-headed bleach blonde. Comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I remember the nightly body counts from the Vietnam War when I was just a child. I remember David and Chet and Walter, and they would tell you what happened, but they didn't tell you what to think.
Yeah.
You made up your own mind.
You were supposed to draw your own conclusions from the facts that were presented. Now, some of the facts may have been slanted this way or that way or the other way, but nobody told you this is the official point of view. You have to adopt this or you're a bad American, which is very prevalent nowadays.
Well, unfortunately, another thing is there's a lot of money driving this stuff from behind the scenes.
Yeah, most of it's selling cars or soap or whatever.
And, you know, you got corporations buying corporations and merging with corporations, and there's probably other strings involved that we can't even see.
Mm-hmm. And even when we find out about them, you can't break them up. They're very careful to dance around the antitrust laws.
Yeah.
Then those monopolies get bigger and bigger and bigger until they're basically attempting to be Big Brother.
Well, it's like your phone companies. You know, AT&T is several of the baby bells merged together. Verizon is several of the baby bells merged together. And then you have what's the new one? The one that bought Sprint, one with the pink. T-Mobile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was not going to come to my brain, no matter how hard I thought.
But you know, you basically have those three, and there might be some minor, you know, like Windstream or somebody else doing phone service somewhere. But you know, you more or less got many monopolies, as I call them.
Mm-hmm. And Windstream is not innocent, let me tell you, because I'm a Windstream customer right now. I have been for years. I could tell you, no, I won't, but I could, horror stories. But no, let's not go there, because it wouldn't solve anything. It wouldn't do anything but give me an opportunity to bitch.
I will let you in on the secret. This area used to be GTE, which merged or got purchased by Verizon, or would have eventually become a Verizon. They sold out the area to Atlantic Telephone, which I think also later became a part of Verizon. Well, when Atlantic Telephone left the area, Windstream came in.
You have my sympathies.
And yes, right. We have phone service and internet through them.
All right, folks, we've got a little under 5 minutes left. Let me play this, and we will be right back. This is an advert for Rising Tide, which we can all believe in, because Rising Tide does do some good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, self-editing. Woo, I'm very adult today. Okay.
I'm proud of you.
Here we go. Now, this is a schedule for the Rising Tide Network, and I probably should lower the volume on the video, but there's something for everybody every night of the week. So check it out. And I really should lower the volume on the music on that. The voiceover does not work very well with that going, ba-boom!
Yep.
Yeah, I can do that. It just takes a few minutes of editing.
That was good music, though. I like that.
Well, thank you. I wrote it myself.
Yeah,
Yep.
Dan's got some good stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I have done lots of things I'm proud of, and I've done things that are kind of generic. And I have done things that were probably not in my best interest to do, but I did anyway. So we have that. I am nothing if not honest about what I do. I may not be humble, but I'm honest. I'm really proud of this.
Some of that stuff.
I thought Dan was going to break into that Mac Davis song about Lord, it's hard to be humble.
That's one of my favorites.
Lord, no, nobody's ever accused me of being humble. Yeah, I may be honest, but I ain't humble. Let me see. Let me see if I can look that up here.
That's a fun song because
yeah,
the lyric is it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Lord knows I ain't perfect, but I do my best as best I can. So let me see here. There we go. That'll do it. Oops, what was that?
That was my laptop sliding off my lap.
Ooh, be careful there.
I caught it.
Let me go back here to the comments. I'll put it in the public, and then I'll put it in the private chat. So there we go. Okay, hit enter. Learn how to do what you're doing. And then I'll put it in the private as well. And there we go. Now you got two different areas to get that link from.
All right.
And evidently I'm now working on my 10th album, although I haven't even tried to do that yet. But the ninth one was supposed to be meditation music. Basically, the working title was "This Will Put You to Sleep," and it kind of got exciting in a couple of places, but it's okay. I managed to get back chill before the last track, and then now I'm going. Well, I'm still writing stuff. So what am I going to do? Throw it on another the 10th album. There's going to be another. What was the 8th album title? Music for streaming video shows, basically. So now that one's going to be music for streaming video shows part 2, and I don't know. The stuff comes to me. I put it out there, and hopefully some folks like it, and some folks will forgive it. Basically, I don't really care. You might buy it, you might not buy it. Basically, I don't care. I have to do it because that's the way my brain works.
It's what you do.
Yeah, it's like drawing a cartoon, Bill. You do it, and it's done, and you're happy with it, and the world can accept it or reject it on its own merits.
Yep, and I'm fine with it. I mean, I like I said, I could not. Oh, when Ryan Permison was interviewing me a couple weeks ago, and I told him that I do commissions for other people and that certain things, but then I've had a couple people that wanted me to do some commissions that I had to draw the line at. and
Yeah.
and it was, there were some moral and ethical reasons for it and that, but a lot of it too is that, well, it's for money. And then I think, but I'm not going to be into doing this. So I'm not going to be doing my best anyway. So why do it? And I just do what I like.
Something you're going to enjoy doing it. The money the money's meaningless.
And I love venturing into, new horizons and doing different things and that. And someday I hope to do the digital art and all that, which is on my bucket list. But it's going to be,
that's going to be a big change for you.
It will, and I may or may not be able to do it. And I'm not saying that I will or I won't, but
well, you can always get one of those drawing tablets with a stylus, so you can treat it like an actual piece of paper that you're drawing on. But if you do the standard, I have to do this with my fingertip or a mouse, and then use the set color palette to put it in there. I guarantee you're not going to be as happy.
Yeah.
I've been practicing with the S Pen, and that I have one little thing that I'm that actually Samsung themselves provided with this tablet, and I've been doing some stuff and that, and I get ready to. My first attempt I ever did, I was getting ready to delete it. Laura tells me, "Don't delete it." Now she's my voice of reason, and I said, "Well, it's horrible. I don't like it." She goes, "But it's your first attempt." Yeah. She says, "What are you going to gauge the rest of it on?" And that, but I said, "Well, I'd like it to be a little bit better than that." But yeah, I kept it.
She's right. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got this thing, which is basically just a mouse shaped like a pen, and with the tremors in my hand and such, it's very, very difficult to use.
Yeah.
But I am elderly, technically, and tremors in my hands. Yeah, you try drinking 2 pots of coffee a day and see if you don't jiggle a mouse. Let me tell you, it can be done. You can learn how to use a new piece of equipment. It depends on the learning curve for that piece of equipment, that program, and how well they mesh together with the medium you've got to work with. And then there's nothing ever going to compare with pulling up a blank canvas and taking a paintbrush and mixing your colors and doing exactly what you want. And you might take 6 to 8 weeks to get just a basic outline of what you want to produce, and another 6 months to a year to get it finalized the way you want it to be. Error correcting all the way. But the digital format, the digital palettes, the digital surfaces, canvases, that's what I meant to say. You can learn to use those. People can learn to use those and use them fantastically. There are some beautiful things that people are able to produce. It depends on the artist within you being able to adapt to a new medium.
Yep. And there are tons of YouTube tutorial videos out there, some of which are really good and some of which are just totally out of left field that I never get. Mm-hmm. But I continue to go down those avenues and look at things and stuff. And
anything you learn one teeny tiny thing from is still worthwhile, even if it goes on for a long time, but you only get the one thing.
Some of these people, they clash with their techniques and that, so you got to kind of be careful about what you learn. I mean, you want to learn everything you can learn, but you're gonna want to learn what you're comfortable with and what's going to work for you. So whether but anyway, I don't set any goals or time limits or anything like that with all this, and all I have is time right now. So but I continue to, I don't do anything every single day with it or anything like that, but a couple times a week, whenever I get a wild hair, I'll pull something up and kind of tinker around with it and see if I can get something that I like, and then I'll go from there or whatever. But until then, I use old school tools and old school techniques, and it kind of proves your worth in a lot of ways, of just simply by doing it the harder way. And that but anyway, I just want to stick with what I like to do, so
you're on the right track. You do what you're comfortable with at the pace you're comfortable with what works for you. It'll take as long as it takes, and don't rush it. Just let it happen, because the stuff that's done and learned organically tends to stick with you longer than something that's forced or rushed.
Right. Yep. And I don't like to, I mean, the only time I ever set any time limits or goals on some things is if I'm doing commission work for somebody, because where I don't want to rush through it, I want to give a timeline to the customer saying, okay, I'm going to start on this. I keep them in the loop the whole time by sending them bits and pieces of what I've been doing, and they tell me yay or nay on what they like. If it's something they don't like, then instead of going through the whole thing, getting it done, investing a lot of money and time into something, and they say, this just isn't really what I had in mind. You keep them part of the progress as much as if they're doing it themselves, and that, so that they can guide you, that I can do something for Dan or Chris or anybody that that they had envisioned that they wanted and that they want to see on that.
I call
crystal.
that customer feedback.
Well, yeah, and it shows to where there's no big surprises and say, well, I didn't think he would do that, or whatever,
but attention to detail, customer courtesy, and very smart.
Yeah, you've got to pay attention to what the customer wants.
Yeah,
which means you've got to get that constant feedback. You go, okay, this is the first draft sketch. Is there something in here that I need to go ahead and change before I start adding color to it? And then when you get that back and you go ahead and make whatever edits needed, you go back again and go, well, here's the here's the colors that I would like to work with. Is there something that you feel is just a little bit off or something, so that I can adjust the palette that I'm painting with, and then you lay down the second draft or the third or fourth or fifth, and you go back to the customer and you go, okay, now it's coming along nicely, and I'm really inspired by this, but there might be something in what I've been inspired to do that you'd feel uncomfortable with. Let me know. Give me some feedback, and you go from there, and you over and over and over again till they get what they want, and you have all these other potential drafts saved that you could turn into something else later on the same subject. If you go, oh, I really like the magenta and orange here, and the customer goes, no, I want blue and I want gray. And you go, oh, but I like the magenta and orange. Okay. File name, different file name. Okay, let's change the colors.
Yeah, I would doing some work for Ryan Permison and on a
oh my God,
show that he did for Geek at Birth and with Dave Adams and that's kind of what we were doing. A lot of communication. We actually set up a group messenger thing to where I could talk to him and Dave both at the same time. I knew if one of them wasn't going to be in there, the other one would, or both of them were in there. And we bounced tons of ideas back and forth between the three of us, got things accomplished and they were happy. And about a year ago, I did some artwork for Cindy Kep on some characters out of a couple of her books, which now she posts that art. Well, she used that artwork to make some really cool swag that she would take to the conventions with her and then she's also using it on her Patreon page for the different levels. You'll see my artwork and Matt Ostrom's artwork on there and that. With her, it was a different story. I approached her the same way I did with Ryan and Dave or anybody else I'm doing commission work for. And she said, I'm going to send you a couple pieces out of the book describing these characters and then out of this book describing this character and all that. And she says, as far as you go, or as far as the rest of it, you envision what that character looks like. And I mean, she gave me free reign. And
that's a rare kind of trust, and you'd learn to value that.
And it's very difficult because when you got somebody saying, well, I kind of like this, but I have this in mind or whatever, it kind of uses that as a guide or a little bit of an outline. And you say, okay, then I'll go from this point, I'll go to here, work on this. And then, you're connecting the dots till with Cindy said, have at it. And instead of connecting the dots little by little with everything, it was like I had to do the whole thing at once. And which
you're creating the dots.
Oh, yeah. But I, reading and she did it the best way possible, because reading those chapters or those pages that she had sent me describing the characters and that did put a vision in my head about something. And I told her, I said, if this is not what you're thinking of or whatever, then let me know and give me some feedback on it and let me know what you think that you wanted when you wrote this in the book. And I did 3 different characters for her. One was kind of like a steampunk dragon with that type of armor on him. The other one was like a kind of a samurai themed robot. And then the other one was a griffin. And each and every one, when I did the whole artwork all at once, instead of showing her a little bit here, a little bit there, and all that, evidently I hit the ball out of the park all 3 times. That's great. I love it. And then I end up getting.
I absolutely love it when the writer goes, "Oh, this is exactly what I had in mind," or even better, "That's not what I had in mind, but yours is better."
Yeah, and she did say that on. I think it was the dragon one, and I'm trying to. And of course it's so late, and I am going to have to get out of here in just a minute. But I'm missing on my name.
Hours, so.
Yeah, I should remember the names of the characters that I drew, but it's 20 after 2 here, so that's the excuse I'm using at least. But anyway,
it was so dark. There were so many. Yep. Gentlemen, we all want to go to bed, so let's just agree to meet up again another time. And believe me, this has been one of the more fun shows I've ever done. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of it. And
thank you for having me.
Oh Lord, yeah, yep. Anytime, both of you. It's just, I do this because there needs to be a Stupid O'Clock after show, and
Joe can't hang.
Yeah, Joe can't hang. No,
and we didn't burn his house down. We'll leave that to the cats.
No, well, we don't know what John did when we left. The house may still be burning down for all we know. But we jumped out and went here. No, gentlemen, thank you very much. And I promise you that as time goes on, this will only get better as the song goes. And we'll pick this up and run with it either Thursday night or next Saturday night, or once I retire and I've got nothing better to do in the midnight hour, we'll do it every damn night. And you're welcome to become the new regulars, or in our case, the irregulars. But in any case, I am eternally grateful for you being here and doing all you do, and presenting so many differing points of view for everybody that may eventually watch this to consider and maybe learn something from. It's always fun. It's always fun, and y'all make it fun.
Well, thank you, Chris and Dan, and I enjoyed talking with both of you tonight as much as I enjoyed talking with Joe and John and Josh and that, and hope to have Lewis and Skunk back in Thursday night if possible. And
if possible, yeah.
So anyway,
they do have their own lives. We
all do.
Demand anything of anybody. So the folks that show up have time to show up, and the folks that don't. And no shame is felt one way or the other. So let's call it a night, and let me hit the end credits here, and we can all go to bed. or
Vaya con Dios, amigos.
Stay up till daylight if that's what you feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And God bless, and thank you all very much for being here.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
And that's it for another Last Man Standing. And just because I'm the last one here, don't mean I'm the last man standing, because we're all leaving at the same time. And here we go with the end credits.